Sensitivity Analysis for Capital Budgeting by Daniel Griffin. Sensitivity analysis is utilizing variables to determine the relationship between choices the company will need to make and the results that will either benefit or detriment company value. The key here is that it is the relationship between the variables that we're looking at. It can be either a simple relationship with only the minimal variables required or a complex and highly interrelated relationship between many weighted variables. So while the minimum would be 2, there is no upward limit of how many variables there can be. Sensitivity is the value of change that impacts the outcome. So the sensitivity analysis is showing how much change is going to happen when we change the independent variable. Capital budgeting allows leadership to evaluate major projects and investments related to company strategic planning. So as the leadership is deciding what to do and how to place their assets, it's going to be based off of strategic planning and what they want the company to be in the future. The planning process recognizes the potential for income and the cost associated with the stated project. So they're going to look at how much revenue they're going to get and how much it's going to cost to make that project. All resources are evaluated and considered regarding how to proceed with the project. So that could be everything from time, personnel, what their current assets are, and the costs associated. The outcome of these numbers and considerations is then compared with the company's expectations of return. There's going to be a threshold that they expect to get on return. Discounted cash flow, payback analysis, and throughput analysis are the primary methods for capital budgeting. So through this, discounted cash flow is going to include everything for that project, the money that it takes to start it up, what they're anticipating to get for revenues, and how much it costs overall to make the project, and then they're going to discount that into current cash cost. Payback analysis is how much it costs and how long it will take for it to pay back the total value. So it's the simplest version and not necessarily the most accurate. The throughput analysis is the most in-depth way to do it, that they are going to look at the company as a whole and look at everything as far as like how everything goes in and how everything goes out. It's the most in-depth and the most accurate. Sensitivity analysis is based off of the dependent variable. That's going to be the outcome that we're looking for. And that dependent variable changes based off of the independent variable. The independent variable is going to be something that changes that's going to give us the outcome. And complex interplay of variables is the more variables that you throw in, then the more complicated it'll get. Changing variables allows management multiple scenarios based on fluid risk and situational factors. So these are the pros of it, is that if something changes, then it's easy to change the scenario based off of the analysis. Another pro is highlighting areas of greatest risk to be or need the most control implemented to achieve results. So this identifies what needs to be focused on the most. One of the negatives is that its assumptions about the future are not always accurate, which analysis is heavily dependent on. So because they're making assumptions, that does not mean that it's going to be factual. Increased complexity may distort variable relationships to inaccurate proportions. So the more variables that you throw in, the more complex you make it. That might change it so that way it's not accurately representing what that relationship is. There are generally 5 steps to capital budgeting. So you're going to do the idea generation for company efforts that are in line with the vision and strategy. So they're going to come up with what is the company's goal. If the company wants to focus on AI stuff, then they're going to put that into their strategic planning. The potential costs, this is where all the analysis is going to go, the pro, cons, inflows, outflows, all the analysis. So that is the sensitivity analysis or the other versions. Selection of the project, so that's going to be what meets the threshold. It's most likely going to be the most profitable option, but it might not be one of the options, or they might choose more than one. And then implementing the project and ongoing evaluation is once they've selected and they start putting it in, they're going to make sure that it is achieving the results that they want. These are some of the sensitivity analysis softwares that are out there. These are all university provided, and it can be over multiple different platforms, like Python is illustrated right here. In conclusion, Sensitivity analysis provides an outcome that can be presented to leadership that allows problem areas to be highlighted, benefits to be received, and how different variables in the process can affect the outcome. Capital budgeting uses sensitivity analysis to determine which projects is of most value to the company and the factors that may increase or reduce the value of that project to the company. Selection of the project may be identified over other projects that do not meet the benchmark requirement of profitability. Aligning potential assets to future goals within the company vision and mission statement allows leadership to prevent company scope creep. These are the resources that I used during this presentation. Thank you very much.